Blizzard dropped some new lore confirming my theory on the identity of the next tank hero. Let's have a look. In the last few weeks, I've done a good deal of videos on the possible identity of the next tank hero. I started out with an idea on how this next tank might be Soundquake, a former Overwatch agent, a concept that has been around since Project Prometheus, but that was stripped for parts to use in a lot of other heroes. And in my last video, I pitched the idea that this could be a multi-hero, a hero that actually is different personalities, and all of them being former Mora experiments. Now, just before the weekend, Blizzard dropped 2 pieces of lore that actually provides evidence for both those theories, albeit for one a little more than for the other. This is new lore, but it has been around and it was discovered when Season 13 started. I actually made a few videos on that too. But you know, some of you only started following me quite recently, and I actually got a ton of people asking me for an update. On top of that, there were a few details that we got now that were missing from the original translation, so I do think we need to have a look at this again. The first was actually a tablet that you can find on Numbani ever since that rework. It is a letter written by Effie, the young genius inventor that built Orisa. After Null Sector attacked Numbani, she activated her army of small drones called Junies to protect the city. Now, the fact that Numbani has these new protectors actually freed up both Effie and Orisa, allowing them to join Overwatch in Gibraltar. The whole story of the attack on Numbani and Effie activating the Junies can be read in Heroes Ascendant, which is a bundle of short stories. Really good short stories. They released the whole bundle back in March. Could make a nice Christmas gift for yourself or a friend. I'll leave a link below. Now, Effie's letter that can be read on that tablet in Numbani, and that was reiterated in that blog on the official website, is her telling her mother, Fola, that she has arrived in Gibraltar safely and that she has met Lucia. Yeah, it turns out that Effie and all of her friends back home are huge fans of Lucia. She also added a picture of her and Lucia with the rest of the gang in the background, including Juno, by the way, who is still wearing her helmet in this casual setting for some reason. But as some of you explained to me on social media, that is apparently because she has a difficult time breathing the air here on Earth. It's a Mars thing. Now, in that letter to her mother, Effie also mentions Soundquake, as in, my friends are going to be louder than Soundquake, especially when they see that picture of Lucia. But that kind of confirms that Soundquake is still a thing in the canon lore. He is still around. And it is quite interesting that they should be releasing this right now, a week before we get that trailer for the new hero. But it could also be coincidence, right? Come on. The second piece of lore that they dropped definitely is not a coincidence. Not at all. See, in another blog post, Blizzard shared emails, or rather the translation of emails that can be found on Oasis in the genetics lab after the lab got ransacked by the gang that we call the Phreaks. Now, when the season dropped, I reported about those emails, as they were kind of the basis of this whole, the Phreaks are Mora's former experiments idea. However, what I reported on was a translation, a really good translation that the community had done, because all of these emails are in Arabic. However, in that translation, there was one part that was overlooked. See, the emails talked about this Black Orb that has been in Oasis since day one. I've shot it so many times that it's kind of ridden with my bullets. Well, it isn't in Oasis anymore. We have reasons to believe that it was stolen by a gang called the Phreaks. Why do I think it was stolen by the Phreaks? Well, 2 reasons. For one, the orb is no longer there. Second, they kind of left their name spraying on the wall. So yeah, I'm not a detective, but I think that is one of those open and shut cases. And when that teaser was added at the start of the season, some new emails appeared on the PC that is in that genetics lab, Mora's lab. See, she actually was the Minister of Genetics for Oasis, until a certain incident that was kind of outlined in these emails. These emails explain that the orb was found on Petra by Venture's faction, the Wayfinders, or the Wayfinder Society. And it is a cache of vanadium, which is an isotope. Who knew? Now, personally, I've always found Petra to be quite the mysterious map. I did a video on that map a long time ago about the fact that the sounds in the chasm kind of sound like there are whispers in there. Spooky. And the Wayfinder Society has been digging there for ages. But they tend to be more interested in icons and statues, rocks, that type of thing. And they didn't have a use for the isotope, so they just sent it on to Oasis. Now, it was meant to go into the geology lab, but they weren't there. They were investigating stuff, so it was stored in the genetics lab, Mora's lab, for safekeeping. Yeah. Mora being Mora, she started experimenting with the isotope, and she got quite far with these experiments, according to these emails, to the point that she refused to give the orb back or to pass the orb on to the geology lab. Now, in the end, she was caught doing rather unethical experiments by Mercy, of all people, and she got axed, after which she moved on to Talon. But let's pause right here. I don't mean literally. Don't push the pause button. In that last email she sent, there was that part that was lost in translation. It turns out that she was working with Helix Securities, the company that Farah is working for. The people that are keeping the God program Anubis in check as much as possible. It turns out they were clients of Oasis. Let that sink in. Helix Securities was a client of Oasis and Mora. Now, in the first instance, they worked with other departments within Oasis, with the crime modeling and surveillance in Morocco, which, by the way, is another hint towards that being a map one day, but I'll talk about that in another video in a few weeks. So make sure to subscribe. And they were also interested in Mora's experiments. So what did Helix do? And is Farah aware of all of this? Once I realized this, I looked at this picture from the first blog a little differently. If you pay attention, you can see that there's two people that have their back turned towards the camera. There's Baptiste, he's hiding behind the ice wall, but he is still on the run from Mogda, so he does not want to stand out. The other one is Farah, who is also turned away. And at first I thought she was just a little grumpy. You know, she got kind of suckered into all of this because of her mom, who is Anna. But what if she is aware of these experiments? What if she knows that the phreaks are about to pop the lid on some really, really dirty secrets? And she's right there, the home base of Overwatch, the good guys, knowing a really dark secret. The phreaks could be experiments that Mora did in service of Helix, using Helix members. I don't think we're going to see those animals as I suspected previously, because Mora ends that email with the words, "You speak of alloying this isotope with a more durable element? I assure you that there's no element with more potential than humanity." Yeah, that lady is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Now let me take this one step further. What if one of the humans that she experimented on was Soundquake? He did not want to stop fighting. He did not want to end his career as a hero when Overwatch was forcibly disbanded. We've seen that with other people like Reinhardt and Winston. What if he made the switch to Helix and he volunteered to be part of this test? And now he has the head of a bulldog. The plot thickens, my friends. To be fair, adding Helix to this whole mix actually leaves me with more questions than answers. But it definitely makes it more interesting. What do you think? Does Farah know about all of this? Is Soundquake a mutant and the next tank? And are my shoelaces untied? Let me know in the comments. But you know what the best thing is? We won't even have to wait too long to discover the third, because next Friday, when the OWCS finals start, they are going to reveal the next hero and they're going to kick off the player test. And I'm going to be on top of all of that like Mora on Black Go. In other words, you can expect a video right after. For now, however, that was it. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. It always helps me out. I also want to thank my patrons that could not make these videos without you guys. You have my eternal gratitude. Now, you too can become part of the Omnic Post family over on patreon.com/the Omnic Post. The link is below. If you have a few minutes left, maybe check out this video. But above all, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Bye-bye.